Chapter 4 Confrontation. Warm light of the first rising sun filtered through the cold morning mist between the trees. Katie leaned forward, putting her belly onto Zeba's warm back and looked down to watch the ground pass below. She felt safe, relaxed, and life was good. Suddenly, Zeba stopped. Katie sat up. Zeba motioned with her hand for silence. Deer-like ears swiveled, listening, waiting, nose smelling. Slowly, Zeba moved forward. With a loud rustle, a maroon-red dragon-like creature burst out of the tall bushes in front of them. Growling, it charged towards the two. "Get off!" yelled Zeba as she lowered her rear and pulled out her sword. Jumping off, Katie landed badly, with pain shooting up her leg. Just as she righted herself and turned to look, the two massive creatures collided, smashing like a truck meeting a train car. They kicked up dirt and dust. Mist bellowed out of their nostrils and mouths. Within seconds, Zeba blocked blows from the clawed wings. Zeba swung, moving so fast Katie could not see most of their moves. The loud clack of hard surface hitting hard surface echoed in the chill morning air. Zeba hacked at the opponent's wings, but they did not show any damage. The dragon swung and kicked. Zeba reared on her back legs while trying to clobber the red monster with iron-shod hooves. Zeba reared again, with sword high over her head, shining bright from the suns. Zeba threw her weight down, making the dragon collapse on the ground. The dragon got up and ran. Zeba's hooves tore up the ground, giving chase. Katie followed, watching at a safe distance. Zeba caught up with the dragon, and they started fighting again. Zeba reared again, and the dragon lunged and shoved, making her lose balance and fall on her side. She lifted her torso and arms ready to block a blow, but the dragon ran off instead. The red mass zigzagged between the trees like a gazelle evading a cheetah. Upon reaching open grassland, the dragon made a dash straight for the horizon. Galloping from behind, Zeba armed her bow and started firing until the dragons dropped out of sight. Moments later, so did Zeba. Katie ran to the horizon. The land dropped to a steep slope, overlooking the continuing forest. Katie saw the dragon glide to the ground and dashed off into the trees. Zeba managed her way down the slope and easily jumped over a crevasse like a mountain goat. "Wait for me!" cried Katie, scared of the height, but also anxious at being left behind. Zeba stopped herself before turning on her heels to see Katie scrambling down the steep slope. Stop! No! Go back!" yelled Zeba. Katie dislodged a loose rock and began sliding down the crumbling slope towards the crevasse. Zeba lunged back up the slope, dislodging chunks of earth. With a final heave, she caught the girl just as she was falling in. Rocks and pebbles rained down on them as Zeba hung onto Katie for a moment before turning to continue down the slope. Once out of range from the rock slide, she came to a stop and put Katie on the ground. "Are you all right?" asked Zeba, breathing heavily as she examined Katie's skin. There were small scratches, cuts, and spots of pink raw skin from the pelting debris. Then Zeba observed something else, fading bruises and scars. "What are those from?" "I get hurt all the time," muttered Katie. "I can see why that is," said Zeba before looking around. "No trace of that creature. I have a feeling we will be seeing it again. It knows something. For all we know, that could be a gal." "Looks like a dragon to me." "A dragon? It is very small for one. It did not breathe fire at all, but it can fight. Perhaps it is a very young dragon." "We have not seen dragons since before I was born. They hunted us till we were nearly wiped out." Suddenly, with the thought, "If they are back, they will strike the citadel. We have to go." The pair traveled with more caution. Katie became a second pair of eyes, scanning the landscape for danger. Zeba stashed Katie behind bushes or hoisted her onto the highest tree branches whenever Zeba sensed something wrong. From the tree branches, she watched Zeba deal with suspicious activities of creatures on the road. At first, Katie was disturbed by the sight of violence. It reminded her of bad times. At the same time, she admired Zeba and wanted to help. She was so strong and seemed so unafraid of the biggest of bullies who wanted to steal her things. One day, Ziba left her in a small clearing to investigate something. Katie hooked up her tablet to her portable solar panel charger. Its flaps opened like obsidian black wings from the sides. Bored, she sat on a rock and stared off into space, but then her eyes wandered down to a curved piece of tree branch next to her feet. An idea sparked in her head as she picked it up. She reached in her backpack and pulled out a long hair rubber band. With it, she made a crude bow out of the stick. Looking around, she found a straight branch. She aimed it at a rock 5 feet away. It flew out, somersaulted before hitting the rock with a light clack. Delighted at the small victory, she kept playing until she noticed Ziba's return. I did it. Did you see what I did? Beamed Katie. Wow, aren't you a clever thing? Perhaps we can use your fighting skills as well, amused Ziba. Flattered by this compliment, Katie blushed. She quietly gathered her sticks and stuffed them into her backpack. On Ziba's back, she shot at trees and rocks, missing every time. Keep practicing. You'll be a skilled archer before long. Yeah, then I can be like you, smiled Katie. Ziba was taken aback, surprised by this compliment, giving her much to think about.